were in a paid group on Facebook, and I read a post from her, reached out to her, and she was like, yes, I'll come to the event. So I'm super excited to introduce the inspirational Louise Ann.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. So, yes, we are in a paid group together, and I shared about my heartbreak at something that had recently happened to me. So I am a TEDx speaker. I shared my story and what I had gone through. Unfortunately, it won't be posted online. TEDx have chosen not to post my story online because it's too triggering, because it's uncomfortable, because they're scared of repercussions. And that's okay, because sometimes we do these things and we expect one outcome but another comes from it. I shared my story about what I had gone through, and they saw something else. The laws in America are different to the laws here, and that's okay. What I spoke about was very personal to me. It's about my journey. See, I know that when we are born, we don't know what the word love means. We don't have a way of describing our emotion until we are given definitions by those around us. My father was cruel and controlling. He belittled my mum, and then he'd mock her when she got upset. But everybody told me about how much he loved her. And so that's what I believed love was. It was the definition that I gave love. I feared my father. And yet, that is what I believed love felt like. It's not surprising then that I went into experiences in the rest of my life and I saw relationships where I had the same feelings, the same experiences. From partnerships, relationships, at work, I allowed treatment that I shouldn't have. Friendships were toxic. I would be put down and I would be belittled, but hey, that's the way relationships are. This is how I deserve to be treated, and I know that because this is how my mum was treated. This is how my father treated me, and this is what everybody said was okay. It's what everybody said was acceptable. It took many years for me to redefine what love was. In fact, that journey started in 2013 when I became a single mum to my 2 daughters, both of them under the age of 4. I was homeless, and I was made redundant, and I was on medication for my mental health. My world had been torn apart. And the people that were around me were these people that I believed loved me, but they didn't. I went on a healing journey and I was told, you need to practice self-love, but the only idea of love I'd ever had was so distorted that it was self-abuse, and I didn't even know. For a long time, I had to go through this. I had many experiences and I fell down many, many times trying to build myself up, trying to pick myself up from where I was. But I had my daughters watching me. And I didn't want them to grow up feeling the way that I did. I didn't want them to grow up believing that this was love. That wasn't going to be their reality. It may have been mine, but it was not going to be theirs. So I didn't stop. Despite it all, I didn't stop. Whenever I wanted to, I didn't stop. And then I started progressing. I met somebody that didn't make me feel the way that I'd always felt. There was a calm. There was a peace, there was a tranquility, there was a security. Oh my God, that scared me. I'd never known anything like it. So I rejected it, I pushed it away. I didn't want that because it was so abnormal from what I was used to that I couldn't stand it. It felt alien. We're conditioned by the lives that we live, and we can choose to accept it or we can choose to redefine it. I had to redefine it. I had to allow this calm, this security, this peace to be available in my life. So I had to grow and I had to change. And as I did grow and as I did change, I started to find out that there were other things that I also had a distorted vision of. I'm a female empowerment coach because I help other women to heal from what they've experienced, because so many of us have a distorted version of what we should be, of what we should accept, of what we should tolerate. Boundaries are seen as rejections of other people, so you're not allowed to have boundaries. Don't have boundaries with your children because you're rejecting them. No, that's not true. You're teaching your children that it's safe for them to have boundaries. You're teaching your children how to show respect to others, how to show care and love for others. Confidence. Oh, nobody wants to have confidence because why? Everybody will perceive you as arrogant. But when did we confuse confidence and arrogance? Confidence is how you feel about yourself. Confidence is all about how you perceive yourself. I'm an incredible speaker. I am a wonderful life coach. I'm an awesome mum. That's confidence. Arrogance is how you perceive yourself in comparison to others. I'm a better life coach than them. I'm a better speaker than anybody else. I am the best mum. That's arrogance. Because what you are doing is you are pulling somebody else down as you bring yourself up. That is arrogance. Confidence doesn't do that. Confidence is all internal, and it does not reflect and it does not take away from anybody else. In fact, confidence in yourself, it gives other people the opportunity to build confidence of their own. You give other people the opportunity and permission to have confidence and build themselves up. Self-love, that's selfish. You know, taking time out, doing things for yourself, that's selfish. But it's not. Self-love is actually the greatest gift you can give to the people that care about you. The people that care about you want to see you looking after yourself. They want to see you eating regularly. They want to see you drinking the water and doing the things that light you up. They want to see you going for walks and taking time for yourself. They want to see that because they love you and they want to see you thrive. Anybody that deems that your acts of self-love are selfish are the people that do not want to see you thrive. Self-love isn't selfish, except to those that don't actually love you. Everybody else. They will love seeing you in this state. They will praise you for it. They will encourage it. That's self-love. We need to change the way that we are raising the next generation, but we're not going to do that unless we start changing the narratives that we feed ourselves. My daughters didn't learn what I learned. because I gave them a different example. I watched my mum tolerate behaviour that she shouldn't have. She didn't know that she was worthy of more. And it hurt. And my healing journey has brought me closer to her than ever before, because finally she has told me that she feels like she has the right to have these things in her life. I haven't just changed the lives of my daughter, I've changed the life of my mum as well. You have no idea of the ripples that your self-love, your self-care, your confidence, your belief in yourself is going to take. Because it will have a ripple effect. Changing yourself and building yourself up and having confidence and putting yourself out there and doing what you want to do, believing in yourself, is going to have consequences far beyond what you are ever going to comprehend. Because you will impact somebody's life and they will take it forward, and they will impact somebody else's life and they will take it forward, and you will never know how far that goes, but it doesn't matter. Because we're doing confidence, not arrogance. It's not about what other people are achieving or doing, because that's their journey, that's their confidence. But your confidence created the ripple. So believe in yourself, because you never know who it's going to impact. Go forward and do what you want to do, what makes your heart sing, because the people that love you are going to enjoy watching your radiance, your beauty. They want to see you thrive, and that is a gift that you can give them, but you can only give it to them when you give it to yourself. It is growth, it is healing, and it is hard. I have made so many mistakes along the way. I've worked so hard on raising my daughters to change the narrative. But we do live in a society that continues to feed something else. How many times have people used pride as something that you shouldn't have? Oh, well, I hope you're proud of yourself. Why are we using being proud of yourself as a criticism? Because it shouldn't be that way. If I ask somebody, are you proud of yourself? It's not, are you proud of yourself? No, it's, are you proud of yourself? How often do we say that we are proud of ourselves? How often do we say that we love ourselves? Because we're not told to. Pride is something that you want other people to experience about you. I want other people to be proud of me. I want my daughters to be proud of me. I want my mum to be proud of me. But I'm not allowed to be proud of me. The truth is, I always wanted my father to be proud of me. And there's a little girl inside me that still does. I will always love him, even if he was unable to love me. And that's okay. Even if he will never be proud of me, I can be proud of me. And that's okay. We step forward and we stop seeking validation from other people. It doesn't mean that we don't always have that splinter inside that wants them. It's okay to feel what you feel, and it's okay to hurt, and it's okay to desire something from somebody else that they're not capable of giving you. But what you do need to realise is, if they're not capable of giving it to you, you're going to have to give it to yourself. If you have an emotionally immature parent that isn't able to give you understanding, then fine, give it to yourself. If you have somebody that never says that they're proud of you, or they see you, or they recognise you, do it to yourself. If you have somebody that is unable, if you have a parent that is unable to say, I love you, then look in the mirror and say it to yourself. Because you can spend your life looking for the validation from everybody else. And the truth is, it's always going to be empty until you give it to yourself first. It doesn't matter how proud they actually are of you, you're waiting for them to fill you up with something, and it's never going to reach until you feel it yourself first. I now empower women all around the world. And one of the main things that I actually come across is that they don't know who they're going to be after. Who am I without the pain? We give it so much purpose. But they don't know who they're going to be after. And I know because I've gone through the same. I gave my pain and my experience and what I went through so much purpose that it became a crutch that I used. I didn't realise that I had given it so much power. My past had so much power. I was a survivor of abuse. I was a survivor of narcissistic abuse. I was a survivor of emotional abuse, financial abuse. I was a survivor of abuse. But that's not all I am. That doesn't define me. I'm so much more. But I'd given that power. The TedX talk, I found out and I realised I'd also given them power. We do. Being a TEDx speaker, it validated me as a speaker. Suddenly it meant that what I did was recognised. It was more important. Them acknowledging that my story was worth hearing suddenly made me think, yes, people want to hear what I have to say. I was waiting for them to validate me. And when they didn't, it hurt. I cried. It broke me. Once again, I had been silenced. I'd spent my life being silenced. You don't talk about what happens behind closed doors. And now suddenly, I was being silenced again. But I wasn't. I wasn't. Because they can't silence me because they don't have that power. And I don't need them to validate me because they don't have that power. I will keep talking and I will keep sharing my story. But my story has shifted and it has changed. I now don't focus on what I experienced because I have done so much more than survive abuse. I am so much more than a survivor. That is actually just an experience I had in my life. The same way I've experienced many other things. I've experienced childbirth 4 times. I've experienced getting qualifications. I've experienced going to Paris. I've experienced many other things. Abuse is just one of those. And it will not define me. Because the only thing that defines me is me. I get to choose who I want to be. I get to decide how I want to portray myself in the world, and how other people choose to perceive me is actually not my responsibility. I don't care if people don't see me as a speaker because I see me as a speaker. I don't care if people don't recognise me as a life coach because I see me as a life coach. Or an empowerment coach, I see me as an empowerment coach. I get to define how I portray myself in the world, and other people get to decide how they receive that. But actually, that's none of my business. To me, success is not being controlled by other people's opinions. To other people, success is many other things, but to me, it's not being controlled by other people's opinions. It's not living my life trying to obtain things because other people think that that's going to make me look better. I don't need the designer shoes and handbags for people to consider me to have a successful business. Or the, 10K months, 6-figure years. I don't need those for people to look at my business and say, oh yes, that's a success now. It's a success because I believe it's a success because the people that I've helped tell me that what I do is successful. I don't need to buy the fancy car for people to think that I'm living a luxurious life. controlled. I'm not looking for other people to say that I am better or for them to look down on me. I don't care what other people's opinions are. But we do live in a society where this idea is pushed upon us that you have to look for other people because they're going to tell you who you are, and you don't. Because you are going to be a different person to every single person that you meet. They're going to see a different perception of you based on their experience that they have. You are never going to please everybody, and that's okay, because you need to please yourself. And it's hard, because a lot of us actually live, and we live for our children. We want our children to be proud of us. But releasing yourself from other people's expectations also means releasing yourself of the expectations of those that love you. You don't need to be controlled by the opinions of your children or your partner. You don't need to live and try to live up to their measure. Because they will accept you for who you are if you give them the opportunity to see who you really are. If you give them the chance to see what your true nature is, then they get to decide whether or not they want to have that in their life. And that goes for your partner as well as your children. I raise my daughters that they are not obligated to have anybody in their life, and that includes me. They are not obligated to have each other in their lives. I will never force them to have a relationship with somebody. And I get a lot of backlash for that. But the thing is, if my children become adults and they look at me and they say, "You're toxic to me," and I'm unwilling to change, and I'm having a detrimental effect on their mental health, they shouldn't have me in their life. The thing is, I know myself well enough to know that actually I can work with them. They can tell me their boundaries and I can respect them. We all make mistakes, but one thing we need to realise is that we can't take people for granted. We can't take it for granted that these people are always going to be in our lives. Society doesn't tell us that we don't have to have a relationship with our parents when we're adults. It is a choice that we get to make. As adults, we choose the relationships that we have. I have to earn my place in my daughters' lives by showing them care and love and respect. And if I'm not going to set that boundary with them, and I'm not going to set them up to expect that from me, then they're not going to expect that from anybody else either. If I teach my daughters that, you're obligated to have me in your life, then who else are they obligated to have? How many toxic relationships are they going to have in their life because they feel obligated? Oh, but we've been friends since high school. Oh, but, she's going through a really rough patch. Really? It doesn't mean that you have to be bullied or put down. We get to choose. Empowerment is about taking back your power. Society tells us to give it away to so many other people, to give it away to society. They control you, they define you. But it is a choice that you get to make as to whether or not you let them. All of us choose. Everything we do in our life is a choice that we get to make. We don't have the option as to whether or not we have our parents in our lives as children, but we do when we're adults. And we're not obligated to have anybody in our life. And you can love somebody and not have them in your life. It's hard, but it's better for you. And the truth is, it's better for them. So many times we hold people in our lives because we don't want to let them go. But we're just enabling them to be the worst version of themselves. Sometimes you need to let people go because you're pulling them and allowing them to be the worst version of themselves because you haven't set boundaries, because you haven't told them how to treat you properly. because you haven't communicated with them. They might not mean to hurt you, they might not mean to do the things they're doing, but if you haven't set boundaries and told them that hurts, then they're going to carry on doing it. Toxic people aren't always abusive. Maybe they just don't know how to have a relationship with you. And that's okay. Because there will be other people that they can have relationships with that will be healthy relationships, where they will draw each other up and they will encourage each other to be the best versions of themselves. We're all free to make the choices. To make the choices that are right for you. Because it's not selfish, it's self-love. I have 3 things that I believe that are essential in our lives. Self-love, self-belief, and self-worth. They are the pillars that we build everything on. When you believe in yourself, you'll be able to achieve the life that you desire, the life that is possible for you. Because you believe in yourself, so you'll put yourself forward for the opportunities. When you love yourself, you will have the relationships with others. When you have self-worth, then you will put the boundaries in place. You will ask for what you deserve, the treatment that you deserve. Your life is what you allow it to be. Your relationships are what you allow them to be. No matter who it is with, it is what you allow. So make sure that you are only allowing what is right for you, because you deserve it, and they deserve it, and everybody that loves you will benefit from it. So make sure that you are your priority.
Wow, another round of applause for Louise.